Hello, my name's Dom. I am a startup guru. I help people go from idea to app. But this time, the person I'm helping is myself. That's right. It's a project that I am going to be taking on. Myself and another product manager. We actually have a client we work for. We work for the same client, and we're very much in this particular space. And where their solution sort of goes one way, we kind of noticed an opportunity somewhere else that they're kind of not interested in. So we thought, do you know what? We should do it. We're product managers. We build things. Let's just do it. Let's build it. And this is a little intro into that. So what is it? It's a new project. It's a new project. It's exciting. And when I say new, I've created a shared drive in Google Workspace and there's 2 documents in it. So new. No, I haven't even written a line of code, have not done any designs, haven't even done wireframes. We are talking right at the beginning. And this is going to be an app. Now, what that looks like, it could be a native mobile app. It could be based in the browser type thing. We don't know. We're going to have to learn that over time, but that's sort of part of the process. Also, it's going to be a service. So this is going to be kind of delivering to people, real value, very much in that sort of SaaS space, just containing it within a digital framework. And lastly, it's a new thing to add to the to-do list. You've got to have something to do, and keeps you busy. Busy is good because I'm not busy enough doing other things. But there we go. Anyway, let's talk about e-commerce brands. So e-commerce brands, these are people who have stores that are just solely online. And anyone can kind of start these up, and that's using Shopify or WooCommerce or something along those lines. And the way it works is you'll have some people coming in, represented by the people on the left, and they will come in, they'll come to your store, and some of them will become customers. And that some of them, X percentage, is your conversion rate. So if you have 1,000 people turn up and 100 people become customers, then that's a 10% conversion rate. So how do you increase sales and how do you grow your business? Well, sort of the 2 things you can look at, one of them is upping your conversion rate. We're not focusing on that. The other part of it is bringing more people in. That's a good way to sort of get more sales through the door. So how do you bring more people in? Well, you can grow an audience. And this is where it becomes a little bit interesting. You can kind of look at the e-commerce people and how they're growing an audience in 3 ways, which is social media, content marketing, and online ads. Problem is they're not very good at it. And that's not to sort of dog on them, but these are people and they make good products. They make great products. They're really good at selling it. They know their customers. They know how to deliver it. They know how to do customer service. They are brilliant at those things, but they're not social media and content marketers. They're not advertising specialists. That's not what they do. So they kind of lack the strategy required to be able to make this work. And where it's 1, expensive, and 2, quite a long-term commitment, it's hard to stay within that kind of discipline to barely know it and to barely get any results. So how can you increase your audience? Who has an audience? Well, influencers do. Influencers have an audience where their entire business and their entire personal brand is about audience. It's about people watching what they're doing, listening to what they're doing. That's where it all comes in. And they are good at it. They're compelling people, they're interesting people, and they're trying to tell a story which is their own story. So how does an e-commerce brand use influencers to help increase sales? Well, this is the brand deal, right? And we're going to dig into the problem now. So a company like Insta360 has a load of cash, right? And then someone like Casey Neistat has a load of people in his audience. And Insta360 will turn around to Casey and say, here's a bunch of cash, use our product and talk about it. And this deal means that Insta360 gets more people looking at their product, and Casey Neistat gets some money to fund his, content machine. That's how it works. It's fantastic. But there's a bit of a problem. If you are an establishing brand, you're not doing a huge amount of sales, right? Nothing compared to, Samsung or again, like is the 360 in this example, you're not even close to that. So you can't get that brand deal because you just don't have the capital to do it. You haven't got the money. It's just not going to happen. So trying to establish that isn't going to work. Similarly, if you're an up and coming influencer, you can't get the brand deals from the bigger companies because you don't have the audience. So it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to get that deal, and you have to sort of keep getting to that bigger and bigger place, but you're committing more, and also you need more money to sort of fund that growth of your audience and fund creating content. So there's sort of a big question mark between these two things, which is what if an established e-commerce brand is connected with an influencer to do a brand deal that isn't in the 5 and 6 figures, but it's a modest brand deal. And that means that that influencer has a little bit of cash to be able to sort of fund their content creation. And that brand gets an extra 1 or 2,000 eyeballs on their product. This is the opportunity we're talking about. This is where Matchfluencer is going to go. And my face is in the way, which isn't very helpful. Let's go over there. So what the trade is between these two people is an increased audience for the brand and funding for content for the influencer, this up and coming influencer. And as these two people, there's two groups of people are trying to do the same thing, which is grow their brand. In terms of the e-commerce, it's their professional brand. And in terms of the influencer, it's their personal brand. They can work together to help move their way up, and hopefully, take that journey alongside each other and help each other out. And that's kind of what I'm all about, is bringing people together and democratizing prosperity. So we're going to start off, and my head is in the way yet again. So let's pop down here. To start off, we're going to focus on fashion and apparel, and this is because it's I think it is the biggest e-com category, but also it's one of the biggest content sort of subjects, right? Is doing clothing hauls and doing fashion stuff. So take these two big ones and let's just focus in really tightly on these things. We're going to do kind of matching people up and networking over email to start with, really to kind of communicate ideas and to be able to connect people and see if there is an opportunity to do a brand deal there. That is sort of the MVP of the whole thing. Kind of talk to people, connect them, see what happens. And that gives us validation for, starting a Git repo and starting to code. Really where we are today is just talking to people. If you're an influencer and you're watching this, please do reach out, because I am wanting to talk to everybody, or as many people as I can anyway. But yeah, it's going to be talking to people, really kind of learn about who they are, what their goals are, and what their motivations are. The other stuff on my channel talks about how to do product, and this is one of those things. And what we're going to be concentrating on in the next sort of month or so is the foundational work. So it's the product stuff. So we do need to figure out properly what problem we're trying to solve. It's about doing that MVP work, but it's also starting to kind of put together the structure of what we're going to build. We need to make a decision on what tech we're going to deploy, because there's a certain element of do we buy or do we build, and which works out best for us, but that depends on the solution after the product stuff. We're going to look at operations, and that is, what are our values? What are our principles? How are we going to, get from nothing to something? That's the journey. And lastly, and probably the biggest bit, is we're going to build in open. And this is something I've talked to a few people about, a few people with some very successful products who took on this mantra of build in open and sort of said, we took people along the whole journey. This video, this presentation, this very janky Google Slides pitch deck is my first step into building open. And I wanted to share this to give people the opportunity to say, oh, here's the thing that's being done. And it might be that you are an e-commerce brand. It might be that you're an influencer or a person just interested in the whole process of doing products. This is what it's here for. And I'm here to answer those questions. So if you want to join this journey, I would really appreciate subscribe. And you can follow along as we do all these things. Every single step, I am going to be documenting it down. We'll be recording videos quite often. and it will hopefully explain what's going on in these things. You can find out more about me at just.solutions/Dom-Maurice. A bit clunky, but I'll just stick it down in the description as well. And if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas or any thoughts, or if you're an e-commerce brand, or if you're an influencer, come reach out to me in the comments. It'd be hugely appreciated. Anyway, that's the whole thing. That's the whole shebang. Matchfluencer, growing brands together. That's where we're going. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And I will definitely see you around. Bye.